To the people of Ukraine, I pray for you. I celebrate you. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being willing, while the rest of the world caught up to the reality that things have changed, while the rest of the world still went to brunch, while the rest of the world still had their afternoon picnics, while the rest of the world went about their business, buying their commodities off the internet, buying their toys off the internet, and living luxurious and lavish lives all around the globe peacefully, you were in the crucible. You were in the fire, and you still are. But you stood up and you did what so many of us would be too afraid to do. Ukraine has found itself in the crucible of the global order. What do I mean by that? Ukraine has found itself in the testing place where their literal all is on the altar of sacrifice, literal sacrifice of their lives, in order to ward off and to fend off the encroachment of Vladimir Putin's imperialist ambitions. They are defending their homes, which is our sacred right and our sacred duty. We would be less than human beings. We would be less than men. We would be less than women if we simply bowed down and allowed the powerful aggressor to have their way with our homes. And yet they are being told every day that the only road to peace is for them to surrender. That's not peace. That's not freedom. That's not liberty. That is subjugation and oppression. And they would be less than human beings if they did not stand up in the way that they have for the last 1,000 days and fought for their freedom, fought for their home, fought for their children. And yet we live in a society that is so twisted, so sadistic, and so sick that they are lecturing Ukraine, warning them that if they don't play by Vladimir Putin's rules, that he might start striking them with missiles, ignoring the past 1,000 days of missiles raining down, killing thousands, the entrenched warfare at the front, where hundreds of thousands of lives have been lost on both sides because of Vladimir Putin's ego, which is only matched and surpassed by the ego of Donald Trump. The sickening and the absurd suggestion that the people who have been assaulted should be the people who should surrender in order to have peace is blasphemy to humanity, to our dignity, when not one of these monsters have told Vladimir Putin to go home. This is a part of the global misinformation machine that we are living in right now. It is a masterful plan. It has been a masterfully executed program by Vladimir Putin and MAGA in the United States of America, where they have turned everything on its head, that those who are oppressed now are lectured to say, no, you need to stop fighting back. You need to surrender. Well, I'm not surrendering. And neither is Ukraine. Glory to the defenders. Glory to every single person who has put their all on the altar in order to do what they know is right. That there comes a time when you have to be willing to sacrifice in order to protect your family, in order to protect your people, in order to protect your future, the future of your children. And even if your personal life is lost in the process, you're laying it down on behalf of the freedom of your children. It is no question the most noble and honorable thing that can be done. And the weasels, the Judases, the Benedict Arnolds, who are suggesting that these fine people in Ukraine should simply surrender, that Volodymyr Zelensky should throw in the towel and wave the white flag of surrender. Why? So that we can satiate the ego and the desires of Vladimir Putin? The devil is a liar. To the people of Ukraine, I pray for you. I celebrate you. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being willing, while the rest of the world caught up to the reality that things have changed, while the rest of the world still went to brunch, while the rest of the world still had their afternoon picnics, while the rest of the world went about their business, buying their commodities off the internet, buying their toys off the internet, and living luxurious and lavish lives all around the globe peacefully, you were in the crucible. You were in the fire, and you still are. But you stood up and you did what so many of us would be too afraid to do. And I am so sorry that you are now faced with the possibility that funding from the United States will be cut off because we have a traitor in the White House. I'm so sorry that there's a possibility that your very best fight might not end the way that truth and justice would say. But that is the reality of what's happening all around this world. I am having to come to terms with the fact that the story may not end the way I want it to end. But you know what? I will look to the people of Ukraine who died in combat and declare that I would rather die on my feet than to live on my knees.
Тут громадяни суспільства, тут всі ми тут захищаємо нашу незалежність, нашу державу. І так буде й далі. Слава нашим захисникам, слава нашим захисницям. Слава Україні!
Слава! Героям слава!